My name is Franklin Hall. In 2013, I had a run-in with the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. It was supposed to be my origin story, as I fell into a vat of floating goo. But as I found out recently, it was actually someone else's origin story the whole time. So where does that leave me? Just a big old pile of sentient goo. That's where it leaves me. But does this mean I should quit my endeavors? Hell no! I will continue to help those who were fortunate enough instead of being cock-teased. Everyone talks about the superhero fight, but no one talks about what happens next. This is post-defeat! MCU continues to be on hold. They are frozen in time because of the dangling cliffhanger that has yet to be resolved. This of course only applies to the movies. The TV shows don't give a shit. They're just going on as if nothing has happened. But the movies, on the other hand, are at a complete standstill. And I've gotta do something about that. I have heard tell of a special supervillain who managed to escape this horrible fate. But no one knows anything about him, except for one tiny detail. This mystery villain was involved with the final superhero battle before the snap. But it wasn't the Infinity War. I found out that this was the battle involving Ant-Man. But not just him this time, also the Wasp, a twofer. So I decided to make an open invitation for whoever the hell that villain was to see what secrets he had to solve this horrible dilemma my friends were facing. Oh man, it's so weird being back here after all these months. It's just too bad I can't enjoy it as a human being anymore. Instead, I'm a nasty old glubby glue glob. But that doesn't matter now. What matters now is that I've got who I need. The opponent of Ant-Man is here. He is in the building, and I am about to meet him face to face right now. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I arrive at the wrong studio? I'm supposed to meet a graviton, not whatever the hell you are. I am graviton. Are you sure about that? You look like the depressed uncle of Flubber. I have no relation to Flubber. You are the one who's the catfish, the fraud, the poser. I asked for the villain of Ant-Man, and all I got was you, the flea. God damn it. Yes, it is I, the flea. And I am not a fraud. I read that flyer very thoroughly, and it was specifically asking for the foe of Ant Boy. So here I am. Not this confusion again. I did not say Ant Boy. I said Ant Man. Not Ant Boy, Ant Man. Why is this so hard for you to understand? Oh, Ant-Man. Oh, yes, I've never fought Ant-Man. I fought Ant-Boy. I am very familiar with Ant-Boy. No one gives a shit about Ant-Boy, okay? No one cares, except for the Danish. Oh, good, you know who actually made the film this time, as opposed to last time when you kept calling it Swedish. Alright, so maybe I was less informed and I was less socially aware of my other countries, okay? Sorry, alright? Alright, I'm only human, okay? No, you're not. You're a little gray flubber. Don't remind me! Don't remind me! Look, you seem to be going through some shit right now, so maybe I should go on my way. No, you don't have to go, Flea. This whole thing was a waste of time. I'm never gonna find the villain of Ant-Man. The one that's alive, not the one that imploded in the first Ant-Man movie. You're not the only one who's disappointed. I thought that someone finally cared enough to ask me to talk about my events in the Ant-Boy battles, especially this last one, where I have become an ally to Ant-Boy. Yes, I am his mentor now, and I am valiantly fighting crime with my fellow superheroes in our own superhero team. Wait, are you all bug-themed? No, but that does sound like a missed opportunity. My bad. But does this mean that you lost respect for me, since I am now a superhero? I don't think anyone would care, since they've never heard of you anyway. I'm just kind of confused that the last time I saw you, you had a different voice than now. You used to be a lot more high-pitched and raspy. What happened? Oh, I think they recasted the voice actor in the American dub. Oh yeah, I forgot. Your voice is dubbed over by an English-speaking person. Yes, that's why my lips don't match what I'm saying. I'm actually speaking Danish right now, but an English man is what you're hearing. Yeah, our lips are definitely moving. All of our lips are moving right now. Yep, it's not like it's just a keyframe that you're seeing right now. So, since this interview no longer matters, is it okay that I just do my own segment? You know, for the shits and giggles? Yeah, you can do whatever you want, Flea. Go nuts! Ich kom fäschen på frisken benstein til sinterstein. Frisken norken smisken lakkelisken baffen. Wolfen baffer verfgen fishbin baffen crepid puffgen. Aspen perfect busken bakken blackbird bakken version. Person blaspen kraken kirken strike spitsets golden up back at the pay. Brakkevasken barspen blacksken maxpen skuskalooksken. Bisken baspen barfel baspen swisken kortlaskusken niskal. Naspen spons bistas dos bispen kalkalisk. Naspen blaspen dosken dalspen bospen bespen. Naspen sken galoksen. Baspen blaspen blospen. Waspen baspen skirsport dort dokten dakting dorken stiekt. Mispan bakvan bosko stoskon. Vosken fasken fiskol gaske duke doke dagsken gurken buken walk. Daspen wekstel bafke die botte kadok loof skok. Naspen wekkerbok. Naspen blaf vak dok vas voor te volk dwoep sken bak dit. Piskon bak one bosken wolf das so. Pushbar bak wolf gedoop voor schoon na volk deel dok op masken blasken baaspoot. Baspen, bakkorfen, fotken, de kanarakerod. Bisken baspen.
Blisken, Basken, Babasken, Blisko. Blisken, Babasken, Gothel. Verzogen de lakken lorotling. Baskolo, Beskisko, bij Volksluchtrakjes.
So, was that in your native tongue? The Danish tongue?
It could be, for all you know. Or I just did a bunch of gibberish, and you can't tell the difference because of how ignorant you are.
Yeah, I guess you do have a point. By the way, I'm sorry that I badmouthed Ant Boy. I know that he got his own trilogy before Ant-Man completed his.
Well, to be fair, it only takes like 4 hours and $7 to create one of these movies.
Well, you should be so happy that you managed to survive the whole trilogy, as opposed to the first villain of Ant-Man's trilogy, Yellow Jacket. He's probably as good as dead now.
Oh God, that name. I keep hearing that name over and over again. People keep confusing me with him. They keep thinking that I'm one of the Ant-Man villains. And every time I tell them, no, I'm not the villain of Ant-Man. I'm the villain of Ant-Boy. Ant-Boy. But no, they just keep calling me Yellow Jacket. Or Sonny Birch. Or...
Wait a minute, wait. Did you say Sonny Birch?
Yeah? Why?
He wasn't the villain of the first Ant-Man battle, which means he might be the man who I'm looking for. Sonny Birch. Sorry, very, very inappropriate of me. I meant to say Sonny Bitch. Sonny Bitch was known in the comic books as a very, very, very brief adversary of Tony Stark. He really just got lost in the shuffle when it came to rival industrial tycoons who own their own business and are corrupted. He wasn't really as much of a supervillain as he was just a nuisance. Just an annoying, sad little man who got in the superhero's way, and he was easily defeated like you probably would assume he would, since he looks like Wayne Knight in comic book form. So he practically is asking for a supervillain or superhero to purposely or accidentally kill him. It's not a surprise that they would completely reinvent this character for the MCU, and this time he is slightly a little bit more of a badass. No longer does he own his own business, unless you count a fancy-ass restaurant as a business. Oh, wait a minute, you do. Sorry, restaurants. But owning a restaurant is not what makes you a villain, depending on the restaurant. But no, what makes him a villain is his underground illegal weaponry cartel. He's got access to all kinds of supervillainous weapons. So who knows, this would give us the chance to see all kinds of Easter eggs that have to do with other supervillains in the MCU. Wait, I think they squander that opportunity. We see jack shit! So what's the point of him being here? What is the point of Sonny Birch? I mean, I'm really happy for him that he managed to lose all that weight and he got some contact lenses, but what is his use here? What is the point of him? Other than to offer shenanigans for the 3 stooge fucks I don't think he's the only villain of this event, because even though he got the promotion to being more of a badass, that still doesn't mean that he's strong enough to be the whole main antagonist of the whole thing. He's one of those gangster type villains, so usually that would mean that he's a supporting villain. He's the secondary antagonist. But who is the primary? Who?
Well, that's not the only name that I've been called.
Right, that's right. People keep thinking that you're a foe of Ant-Man, right?
Yeah, they've been calling me Yellow Jacket. They've been calling me Sonny Bitch.
But what else? What else have they called you? What else?
Well, maybe if you stop interrupting me, I'll say. The third name that they've been calling me is Ghost.
Huh. Ghost. That name does sound familiar. It sounds very familiar. Mighty familiar. In fact, I think that's one of the most famous supervillains ever to come across the Marvel Universe.
Are you sure he's that famous?
Well, he is when it comes to people who want certain supervillains to show up already in the MCU. Interestingly enough, this is another Iron Man villain who's been repurposed as an Ant-Man villain. Kinda makes you feel sorry for the actual Ant-Man villains. Apparently none of them are interesting enough to actually be in the Ant-Man movies. Sorry, Mr. Porcupine, you're not cool enough. Although that is true, I mean, you're a freaking porcupine. Sorry, guy who's basically just Purple Man, except your powers are artificial, they're not genuine, they're just supplied by technology, you cheater! Also sorry to the Tornado guy and the radioactive guy. Maybe you would do better somewhere else. So instead, we've got Ghost, one of the most misunderstood supervillains. Everyone assumes that he is an actual ghost because of his name and his choice of color, but that's actually not the case. He actually wears a high-tech suit that allows him to gain ghost-like properties, like walking through walls and flight. But there is very little known about his backstory, how exactly he came to be, and what his secret identity is. And that's what makes him more scary, the fact that we don't know about his history. Did you hear that, Dr. Not Strange?
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but from what I've heard, the Ghost has been given a backstory in this version.
Is it a tragic backstory that involves at least one death of a parent?
Oh, I'll give you better than one death. How about both parents?
Oh, wow, the double whammy. If you're gonna give that kind of backstory to a villain, then that means that he is the main villain. He is the one that I've been searching for.
Well, that's not the only thing I've heard. They also tell me that the Ghost has more of a feminine type figure, if you get what I'm saying. It's very much more curvy and more of like a boob thing going on, if you know what I mean. The Ghost has got some boobs, is what I'm saying.
Wait. A ghost with boobs? This is a gender-bended ghost? Well, I guess since so little is known about Ghost, and he has appeared to look more androgynous in recent comic books, you can't really tell anymore. He's basically the comic book version of Pat. Bonus points if you get that reference. It's Pat. So you managed to hear about all of that?
Yep. You'd be surprised what people tell you when they think you're a completely different supervillain. They're all like, oh hey, I'm sorry about what happened to your parents. Or hey, I thought you were a chick. I knew I shouldn't have masturbated to a picture of you.
Well, I'm really sorry that you were put in that situation, but is there any other tidbit or factoid that you got about Ghost?
Not much, other than the fact that apparently she's an actual ghost in this version.
Wait. She is?
That's what I heard. If I heard correctly, I try to ignore those people for the most part. It gets really tiring after a while. Oh, you're the villain of Ant-Man, right? No, Ant's boy. And then they'll be all like, oh, but he's not a boy. He's almost 50 years old. And then I have to say, no, I'm not talking about Paul Rudd, but good for Paul Rudd for looking that healthy at 50.
Huh. If she's an actual ghost, then what is a ghost by definition? What technically counts as a ghost? An actual ghost?
I think it's a soul, right? A soul that has left its human body because they died, and now they're trapped on Earth, and they can't go to heaven or hell. They just have to stay here.
Yes, they're a soul. And if they're a soul, then that calls for this.
What the hell is that? Is that some kind of suppository? I've never seen one so shiny.
What? No. What the fuck? No. Ew, gross, no. This isn't a suppository. It's an infinity stone. The soul stone.
How did you get your hands on one of those?
It's a long story involving several videos also on this channel. You can look at the playlist if you like, but if you don't have time, I'll just say this. Once I use this stone, I can never use it again, because it will be replaced by a different stone. So however which way I use it, it needs to be important.
Well then, it's your call.
I'll do it! I'll use it now! I summon the ghost who fought Ant-Man and the Wasp! She's here! I can see her feminine figure! She's definitely an actual ghost!
Holy shit! I had no idea that would work!
What, you had doubt in the Infinity Stone?
Yeah, because I wasn't even sure if she was an actual ghost or not.
What? You made me take a huge risk and you weren't even sure?
Yeah, well, I mean, she's more or less a ghost. From what I heard, she went through this horrible accident the one that killed her parents, and she survived it, but it gave her a horrible condition. It wasn't her suit that gave her those abilities. She had those abilities. And she would keep phasing in and out of this plane of existence. So, if you want to get real technical, she is sort of a ghost in the scientific way, just not the fantastical way. If she's not actually technically a soul, then how did the Soul Stone just summon her all of a sudden? How? Well, how do you know if you actually used the Soul Stone? Because it's already been replaced by the Mind Stone. Oh, so maybe that means she actually is a ghost. But that contradicts with what you said about how she's actually phasing in and out of our world. She can't be an actual ghost. Who else could this possibly be? Who is this ghost? Maybe it's the ghost of her father. Oh, that's right, I forgot. She has dead parents. Maybe one of the dead parents was so proud of her little pumpkin lily pad because they are her #1 fan. I'm your #1 fan, sweetheart. Look at me, I'm cosplaying as you. I'm so proud of my little honey muffin artichoke. Well, since this ghost has the same voluptuous figure, I assumed that it was the mom, and it definitely wasn't the dad. That guy had a real dad bod going on. You pissed off the ghost! Maybe that means that it is the dad. Oh, hello, ghost dad. I don't think it likes being associated with Bill Cosby. Then what do you want me to call him? By his actual name? I forgot. What was it that those stupid people kept calling him? Elias? Sorry, Elias. Sorry, Mr. Star. Hold the phone. Hit the brakes. Stop right 1 second. Did you just say that his name is Elias Star? Yeah? So? The one supervillain I've been waiting to show up in the MCU. Well, specifically the Ant-Man part of the MCU. As the MCU as a whole, no, he's not the #1 villain. But when it comes to Ant-Man, he's the one I've anticipated the most. Do you remember that anime movie with the Punisher and Black Widow? Well, if you possibly do, you'll recall a particular character that was named Elias Star. And if you're familiar with Elias Star, you would realize that this is fucking nothing like Elias Star, because probably what happened was the creators of this anime made up their own character. They just made up a character, and then when the movie was presented to an English audience, they decided to just slap on a random name from the comic books. And so they spun the wheel, and the one they happened to land on was Elias. This just made me yearn for an eventual accurate representation of this character. He's not young and sexy and ripped and in really good shape. He's a middle-aged fat fuck.
Yes, he's an old fat fuck who's bald and nearsighted and is very unattractive. Just the way I want him. When he had the chance to literally reinvent himself, he could have downplayed his egg-headedness. But no, he embraced it and he emphasized it, complete with the eggshell and the yolk and everything. He is the egghead. Woo! No, not that egghead. No! He is Elias. So with all of that in mind, can you believe how big of an injustice this is that they would just throw him to the side and force him into only being a flashback and nothing else? You would think that the arch nemesis of Ant-Man would have better treatment in the Ant-Man trilogy, but no! Just threw him to the side. I cannot believe this. And if this funky phantom is indeed Egghead, then I'm sorry. I'm deeply sorry about all this. You deserve better.
I'm okay with it.
Holy shit! You are Egghead! Or should I say, the ghost of Egghead? But wait a minute. You're okay with what they did to you?
I mean, let's think about this for a second. If you had me in the picture, that would just mean another evil version of the hero. Nothing dynamic about that.
But you've got your own technological achievements that are way different than shrinking. You could have used any one of those.
But what use would I have really been to the story they were trying to tell here? This was all about the rescue of Janet Pym, and it involves interdimensional toying. I would probably wind up just fulfilling the role that was taken by Bill Foster.
Bill Foster? That guy's a hero, not a villain. Is it because he was pissed off by the fact that he's never come back to life after being killed off in the comic books? I mean, yeah, I guess I'd be pissed too if literally everyone else gets to come back to the party, except for me.
Well, his role was only slightly villainous. Yes, he was helping the antagonist of the movie, but he was only doing it out of love and compassion for the ghost.
Okay, so if he still was a good guy, then I guess that means he had to do the obligatory scene where he betrays the bad guy and goes over back to the good guys with his tail between his legs.
Actually, no. We did not have to endure that cliché, because my darling ghost is not a full-on bad guy.
So she's a hero too?
Well, she doesn't do anything heroic. She's just desperately trying to keep herself alive. Because the more she phases out, the less likely she'll phase back. And each phase causes horrible, unspeakable pain to her body. She's merely trying to stay alive and find a cure, and that cure just so happens to be at the cost of saving the original Wasp, Janet Pym.
Oh, I get it. So they were trying to do a good thing by doing a bad thing first.
Yes, they managed to meet a happy medium. The Pyms got their reunion with Janet, and my darling little spoopy ghost gets to still be alive. Which is a little disappointing because I was actually looking forward to my reunion with her. But if this is what she wants, then who am I to get in her way? All I can do is give her my blessing.
The way that things seemed to be going, it sounded like you had to pick between one or the other. It couldn't be both.
Come to think of it, there's a whole lot of things that were going to be in this movie that would have definitely made this movie a whole hell of a lot better than it wound up being.
You can say that again. Apparently, AIM was going to be involved. And it wouldn't have been the discount AIM that we saw in Iron Man 3, where it was like 6 guys that were in a lab and that was it. No, it would have been the actual AIM, with the beekeeper suits, the yellow beekeeper suits. We were going to finally see that realized in live action. But nope. It was cut out. And do you know what else was cut out? Hank Pym wearing the yellow jacket. Although I don't really care as much about that because we technically already saw a yellow jacket, so whatever. But the biggest missed opportunity of them all was all of that sick, dank, lit sequences in the microverse. I know we saw a whole lot of them, and it was very Kirby-esque. Just a lot of Kirby crackling going on there. A lot of Kirby influences. It was fantastic, I'll give it that. But it could have been more fantastic. It could have been so much more. I mean, both the Ant-Man and the Wasp could have been down there. And they could have been fighting all kinds of microscopic creatures. All kinds of interdimensional beings. Just so much H.P. Lovecraftian horror going on. And they could have been fighting all of those things. But nope.
Yes, all it does is make you get excited for a movie that's not happening. Instead, you have a subpar version in its place.
Especially when before you found out about all of what could have been, the final project really doesn't seem that bad. It's decent. It's pretty decent. Wait a minute, there's a reason why I summoned you here.
Well, what is it?
You are one of the only villains who managed to escape the huge shutdown of the MCU. Everything from that universe has become dead to this channel. This channel can't touch any of it. Because the dangling cliffhanger is too large. So tell me, how did you avoid it?
Well, that's simple. I don't care.
Wait, what?
I don't care. I mean, sure, I was a little bit disappointed at first when I found out that I was only going to exist in a flashback. But I quickly got over it, because it doesn't matter to me. All that I care about is that my legacy is continuing through my daughter. Who's to say that the Thunderbolts won't be knocking on her door, her spooky haunted house door?
So because you have no investment in the MCU, you weren't affected?
All of the other villains were 100% devoted to the MCU. But when you've got someone like me who doesn't give a damn, then you are allowed the opportunity to release yourself. No investment, no devotion, just pure freedom.
You're not interested in coming back as a robot?
Well, even if I did care, that's become kind of a overdone trope by now, hasn't it? Dr. Arnhem Zola did that, and look what happened to him. It was just a revolving door. And if the Claw is going to do it too, then imagine how much of a dead horse it will be by the time I show back up. I'm fine with just simply being the catalyst for a super antagonist, instead of actually being one.
So, all of the other villains were shut down because they were too invested? But how does that explain Zemo? It seemed like he didn't really give a fuck.
Well, I think the fact that he doesn't give a fuck is what makes him so important in the MCU. It's sort of a defining character trait for him. But it's not for me, and that's how I made it out of there. Plus, it probably still wouldn't matter because you're still dead. Yes, that is also true. Yes, Mr. Flea, is it? Flea is my American name. But if you allow me to embrace my culture, then let me explain to you what my name really is. Lopin. Or Lopin. Yes, Lopin. Danish and proud, Lopin.
Yes, we know you're proud of being a pastry. So does that mean I was right about the reason you dressed up as your daughter?
Yes, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. I am doing this because I'm so proud of my little snickerdoodle pumpkin pie latte supreme ghost.
Oh man, this doesn't help me. This doesn't help me at all. I can't free all of my friends by making them not care. They're frozen in time. They can't hear or see me. They're catatonic.
They might not be able to stop caring, but you are able.
Wait, what are you saying? You want me to stop caring about them?
Just let things take its course. Go with the flow. Whatever happens, happens. You need to focus less on their problems and focus on yours. And by the looks of it, you've got some huge problems.
I guess you're right. I should just let things take its course. If they are able to get themselves out of this rut, then they will.
There you go. That's more like it.
But wait a minute. Does that mean you don't give a shit about your daughter? I mean, she's in the MCU right now, in the catatonic state, just like everyone else.
Look, I'm trying not to think about it too hard. Besides, she wasn't involved with this Infinity War nonsense, so she's probably safe. I'm just trying to enjoy this retirement. This permanent retirement from Earth. Tootles! Tootles to the both of you! It's been a long time since I've heard the word tootles. How pleasant!
So, I guess he's right. I have been neglecting myself. I mean, look at me. I'm a gray flubber.
That's what I said.
Oh, but I don't think there's anything I can do about this. This is what the MCU said I should be. So, I guess this is what I am then.
But you're holding one of the Infinity Stones. I'm sure you could just use it to turn yourself back to normal.
I could, but I really feel like these should be only used for something super important. And is it really important to be a human? I mean, there's been supervillains who've lived their whole lives as sentient piles of gloopy globs, and they've done perfectly fine for themselves. I just need to learn from the professionals. They will teach me. They will teach me their ways.
I guess it was very insensitive of me to make fun of you just for being a flubber. If that's what you're proud of being, then who am I to make fun of you for that?
Yes, flub life.